Hi, my name is Derek Cheetah. I was born on June 26, 1974 in New Jersey. I played baseball in Little League when I was young. As a child, before I went to bed, I thought about winning the World Series and scooping up grounders and throwing them to first base and getting the batter out. As I grew up, I played on the high school varsity baseball team and was the best player on the team. I was also considered the best player in Michigan. I also played for a travel baseball team At the end of high school. I was waiting for a call from the New York Yankees. I was really hoping to get on the team. When I found out I was on the team, I got so excited. My parents were so proud of me getting on the team. I still play for the New York Yankees. I am one of the most famous baseball players of all time. I just announced this 2014 season will be my last time playing baseball. I hope it will be the best.
Hi, my name is Jackie Robinson, and I'm famous for being the first black person to play baseball. When I was a child, I really liked to play sports, and as I grew up, I became a lot better. And in school, I was playing a lot of sports. And as an adult, I became one of the greatest baseball players ever.
I'm Neil Armstrong. I was born in an Ohio farmhouse that belonged to my grandparents. I was born on August 5th, 1930. When I was a child, I loved building models of planes out of balsa wood, tissue paper, wire, and they were powered up by wound-up rubber bands. I took my first plane ride when I was 6. I was also a Boy Scout. I became an Eagle Scout after a few years. As I grew up, I got a job at a donut company because I was small enough to fit in the donut mix to clean it. I got my pilot's license before my driver's license and had a patron in a jazz band called the Mississippi Moonshiners. As an adult, I got married to Janice Sharon and had 2 children. Our first child was named Eric, and 2 years later, in 1959, Muffy was born. She's a happy, sweet child. Soon she got a brain tumor and died on a Sunday morning in January of 1962. I became an astronaut in September 17th, 1962. I'm famous because I'm the first person to set foot on the moon.
Hello, I'm Sacagawea, and I'm from the Shoshone tribe. When I was a child, the white people told me stories. One day, our enemy tribe came and took me from my family. I grew up as a teen and was sold to another Indian and became his wife. A few days later, I met Lewis, Clark, and people that worked with them. Since Lewis and Clark didn't know how to speak Shoshone, I became their interpreter. Soon, I had a baby boy. We called him Pom. Speaking of which, did you know my name is Bird Woman? Anyway, we went on a journey. I soon became 6. Pom did too. My husband was really worried. I got all better. Pom took longer to heal. Soon my new friend Lewis started to like Pom, but he started to say a few words. I met up with my brother to get horses from him. He refused at first, but he saw we really needed them for our journey. In my last days, I started staying in the forest with Pom. I died of a fever.
Hello, I'm Anne Frank. I have 4 people in my family, and I was the second child born in my family. I was born on June 12, 1929. I had some difficult times when I was young. On my 13th birthday, I got a present from my mom and dad. It was a diary. I started writing my diary, all the experiences throughout my life. In 1942, my family and friends went into hiding. We went into hiding behind a bookcase called an annex. We stayed into hiding for 2 years. The last thing I wrote in my diary was when they found out where we were hiding. On August 1944, that's when they captured me, and they shipped me off to a place called Bergen-Belsen. The conditions there were dreadful with diseases. My sister Margaret and I died in March 1945 of typhus. I enjoyed my life, especially when I was able to write in my diary.
Hi,
I'm Mozart from Southbridge, Australia. My parents were Leopold and Anna. I was born in 1756. When I was a child, me and my sister and I all take turns playing piano. I began piano lessons when I was 4 years old. I wrote my first song when I was 5 years old. My parents were called me Wolfie for short. Wolf mean. My sister and I traveled all over Europe when we were kids giving concerts. We were rock stars of the classical period. I taught myself the violin when I was 6 years old. I brought to which I was a musical genius. When I was 8, I played two scenes at the harpsichord, which is like a piano today. It's in school. I learned science, math, and writing in the chorus music. I was lucky enough to travel of Europe to play for the Popes. Later, as I grew up, I composed music. I wrote 600 symphonies and chose in opera. I was a friend with Sebastian Bach, and many other friends in musicals. I was a royal court musician at the age of 17. I performed for all the kings and queens of Europe. As an adult, I was famous for as everyone understood well my music. I was married to a beautiful woman cousin, and we had 2 boys. I was famous for composing classical music. I was passed away at the age of 35 due to reserve illness. Some people think I was passed away. My rivals.
Hello, my name is John F. Kennedy. I came from a politically powerful Irish American family. In 1935, I moved to London, England to study economics. And then I went to Harvard to play football. But then I hurt my back, so I couldn't play anymore. So I studied harder and I got better grades. I graduated in 1940 with honors. In 1941, I joined the Navy. In 1943, I was a lieutenant, and I commanded the torpedo boat PT-109. PT-109 was sank by a Japanese destroyer. I and my crew had to swim 3 miles as I carried an injured man. I got 2 medals. One was a Purple Heart for my bravery, and then I had to get sent home because of my back injuries. In 1946, I was elected to be in the Massachusetts House of Representatives, and then I was the U.S. Senate. While at the U.S. Senate, I got married to Jacqueline Lee Bouvier in 1953. In 1957, we had our first child named Caroline. In 1960, I ran for U.S. President. That same year, my son John was born. And I got elected as the 35th President of the United States. I was the youngest president ever, and I was the first Catholic president. During my 3 years as president, there was some challenges in Berlin, Vietnam, and I also helped stop the Cuban Missile Crisis. This is something that was really important to me. It was increasing civil rights, hiring workers' wages, and defense. This is something that I said to all the Americans. It's not what your country can do for you, it's what you can do for your country. On November 22nd, 1963, in Dallas, Texas, I was shot and killed, assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald, and that concludes my amazing life.
Hi, my name is Babe Herman Ruth Jr. I was born on February 6th, 1895 in Baltimore, Maryland. When I was a kid, my mother was always sick, and when she was always sick, she always paid attention to my older sister, Mammy, while my father was downstairs working in a restaurant, so no one ever paid attention to me. In our restaurant, every week there were fights, so while people fought, they did not pay for the food, so my parents did not have enough money for Mammy and I to go to school. Every time I was outside,
the kids were outside too, and that I did not have any friends because I didn't go to school. Everybody treated me like dirt, but that did not bug me. Later, as I grew up, I became a baseball player and started going to school because my parents did much better on the restaurant. As an adult, I became a professional baseball player and played for the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, and the Boston Rangers. I'm famous for leading the New York Yankees to the World Series in 1934, having 6 most valuable players in 6 years in a row, and having 714 home runs in 1934. Finally, I quit the job I loved most, and then 1 year later, I died on August 16th, 1947.
Hi, my name is Annie Yoku. I was born on August 13th, 1870 in Dake County, Ohio. Tragically, my father died when I was 5. My mother had to sell the farm and move to a smaller farm and try to do with what little we had. When I was 6 years old, I knew I had to do something to help the family. I began making clever traps out of corn stalks, string, and corn for the bait. I was able to catch small birds that I brought home for my mother to cook. I was naturally a good shot and soon was bringing home fresh meat. When I was a teenager, I was so good with my rifle that my sister Lydia put me in a shooting match. At the shooting match, I competed against a man named Frank Butler. After 25 perfect rounds, Frank finally missed, and I won a $25 prize. Frank wasn't disappointed that he lost. He was actually impressed with me. He asked to see me again. We became friends, fell in love, and got married in 1876. After years of performing together, we joined Buffalo Bill Cody's Wild West show. The crowds loved me. I impressed them some tricks like shooting an apple off my dog's head, snuffing out candles with a bullet, and shooting glass balls while they're in the air, while riding horseback. I was kind, especially to orphans, especially to orphans. I knew how it felt to have a rough childhood. I even got to travel to England for Queen Victoria. My life ended in 1926. People will always remember me by my kindness and excellent shooting skills.
Hi, I'm Florence Nightingale from Florence, Italy. I was born on May 12, 1820. When I was a child, I was homeschooled and spent most of my time in London, Derbyshire, and New Hampshire. In school, I studied math, science, history, and philosophy. Later, as I grew up, I studied in a nursing school and nursing home. Growing up in an upper-class British family, the decision to become a nurse was very shocking to my parents. I was expected to get married and raise a family. At age 24, I declined my parents' match to marry, and instead left England to study nursing in Germany. As an adult, I organized a corps with 34 nurses to help me with 18,000 soldiers injured in the Crimean War. I became famous during the Crimean War for performing sanitation in hospitals and my nursing skills. I was a dedicated nurse looking after the injured soldiers. Even at night, I became known as Lady of the Lamp. I reduced deaths by 2/3. After the war, I returned back home and received a hero's welcome, $250,000, and a medal from Queen Victoria. I then